All right, opportunity, next part of focus. What's the opportunity that was a game changer for you in your career?
Game changer.
You have Tech My School.
So I have a couple of game changers. One,
Yeah.
And for anyone who knows anyone in education, whether it's your wife, you're in education, or your friend or whatever, there's something called international education, international teaching. And so I went to San Diego State. I got a teaching degree in San Diego State. I taught inner city schools in San Diego for a couple years. And there's this thing that
Shout out AA Ron.
So there's a thing in teaching, it's called international teaching. And essentially, there are American schools, every city in the world, where anyone who has a teaching degree can go and teach at. And it's such a game changer because if you're working as a teacher here, you make a decent salary, but you're not making a lot. Like going out on a Friday night to get pizza is kind of a big thing. You got to budget that in. Whereas when you're in international teaching, you're making a similar salary, but they pay for your housing, they pay your medical, they pay your flights, and the money you make is tax-free. So that's huge. If you and your wife are teachers, both of you are making, let's say, $50K, you're saving 75 of it. And so that was a huge financial game changer for me, is because I was doing the thing I loved, traveling the world, and I was saving a lot of money.
So life hack, Rob's been doing this for a really long time. Rob is also a successful real estate investor. It's not necessarily his focus. He comes from people that are in real estate. His uncle is very known in the San Diego market. Jim Taylor has been, sat on some boards, et cetera, has real estate, multifamily syndications. So Rob is a conservative guy, I would say. He sort of, he kind of life hacked. So the point is that he was traveling around, living in other countries, getting to experience that. He also was getting paid. His cost of living was lower. He didn't have to pay taxes. So he essentially was saving all of his money. And what he would do is go somewhere for a year, live there, live very, very frugally, I would say, and then come home and buy a piece of property.
Yeah, pretty much. But to be honest, it wasn't even frugal.
I thought it was frugal. Rob and I have a different definition of frugal.
I mean, we'd still travel 3 or 4 times a year, different countries. The bottom line is I just didn't have a lot of expenses. So the schools they pay for everything.
Right.
The only thing you have to pay for is your cell phone and your food.
Right.
So that's why I was able to save so much, is because of that lifestyle.
So you would say the opportunity that you discovered was essentially a travel and life hack, working and teaching overseas.
100%.
So yeah, what's it called?
So if you're interested in learning about getting into it, you can go into what's called Search Associates. They have a website, go on there, sign up. And once you get in that, portal, you'll be able to search any country in the world.
And do you have to have a degree?
You have to have a degree.
A teaching degree. What is it?
TEFL? No, that's
the TEFL.
That's what people are. That's a misconception.
Yes.
People think you have to teach overseas with the TEFL for teaching English.
Right.
You make $10 an hour. You're just there for the experience.
Sure.
But when you teach overseas as an educator,
yep.
I mean, I have a close friend of mine. He's making over 200, and he's getting all these perks. And so there's different schools that pay different amounts. So you can make the differentiator
is a TEFL, which is essentially
anyone can
really known comparatively to being a teacher, a actual teacher, but doing it overseas.
Correct. So you're going to get your bachelor's. It can be in literally any subject. Then you're going to get your teaching credential. You do that through the California State. Although if I were to life hack it, I'd probably not do that. I would probably just get a bachelor's in something that I'm interested in, business, accounting, whatever. And then I would do a teaching credential master's combination through a different state, like Utah or Kentucky or something, because those states are a little more lax.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you have that credential and master's together, it's 1 year.
Yep.
Then you can go overseas and you're going to be on a higher pay scale.
Sure.
And you have the credential. Whereas California, the teaching credential is 45 units. It'll take you 1.5 years and you're still not at master's level.
Got it.
Yep. And then if you really wanted to hack it, you could actually apply just with your bachelor's. And then once you get hired, tell them, I'll do my credentialing while I'm working. So I did that actually for my uncle. My uncle was a chiropractor up in Carlsbad. And so when his wrists were going out, I was like, you should join us in international teaching. I got him in that field and he got a job straight away.
Rob, if you've never read the book, The Go-Giver, Rob, personifies that. He is a giver. He will take your phone call. He will respond to you if you have a question. He does his best to take care of the people around him, and bring value where he goes. I think, our group, our friendship group generally, we are all that way. I think it's one thing that bonds us. And for the record, Rob is sort of the glue in the group. He's that guy. So if you do have a question, you want to dive more into international teaching, how to hack international teaching, how to escalate the way you can make money and maximize that time, your travel experience, reach out to Robbie Cobbs. We are going to post all of his information in the description, along with what he's doing now with Tech My School. But yes, he does research and figures this stuff out. He also does the thing and learns and talks to people and builds communities wherever he goes. So a tremendous resource if you're interested in teaching overseas. So that's going to be opportunity. Moving on to communication. What is your most important communication tip, Rob?
Who are we talking to?
You have here, communication comes easier for some people. And if you know someone who is a thinker inward or has interest...
No, I'm just wondering, when it comes to communication, you need to know your audience.
Okay.
Right? So
rule number 1 of public speaking.
Correct.
Yep.
So I've been married to my wife for 15 years.
Congratulations.
Yep. And the way it works well is the fact that we communicate. I would say that's the foundation of a relationship. Besides, obviously, loyalty and all that stuff. She's a great cook.
You guys are friends as well, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We joke a lot and that kind of thing. But it's communication. So she will tell me what I do wrong all the time.
Yeah.
Straight to my face.
Sure. She's very direct.
I love it.
Yes.
I need that.
Yeah.
You're very direct. That's
I
why
am.
I love you. You
Yes.
know what I mean? So I appreciate that. I dated a girl before, not direct. And that was difficult for me. And so I can be like you. I can say anything to you and you'll just take it.
Yep.
She's the same way. She can just take it. So that has kind of been the foundation of it. So I would just say not being scared and just communicating itself and just be direct.
Love that.
If
you're saying it, hopefully the person across the table can take it.
Yep.
And I'm not saying this to be mean. It's just how I feel and I want to get it out. I want to communicate it to you.
So just don't be scared.
Don't be scared.
Don't be scared.
Don't be scurry.
Nope. And so as long as you're communicating in a way that you're showing empathy, you're showing respect, but you're being honest.
Sure.
And you can, sometimes when there's hard conversations, you have to front load it. I'm going to say something right now. You're not going to like it.
Yep.
But here's what's going on right now. And you just give it to them. It's so much better to just say it than to hold on to it and just,
It's been one of the cores of our relationship. I would say Ashley and I are like that. I would say most of the strongest relationships in my life are the same way.
Got to do it.
In my business right now with ADU Pals, it's the same way. We're very communicative. Hey, dude, this thing needs to happen. This thing didn't happen. Why didn't it happen? Let's talk about it. But it is with empathy. It's not, I'm better than you. You're better than me. It's, hey, look, we need to talk about this thing. I love that.
Yeah.
For me, so your answer is just communicate. Do the thing.
Yeah, just be honest. Don't be scared. But I would also say, I guess from my own growth area, is sometimes I'm too open, too honest sometimes. And I could do a better job of being a little bit more empathetic because sometimes I just will say things off the cuff, like what I'm thinking.
Jokes are jokes too. And so I think there are certain rooms for certain jokes, candidly, and then obviously there's trust built. I've known you for 30 years. There's literally nothing you can say that's going to even move me at all where we have been in rooms sometimes where it's like, Rob,
just other
Rob,
sometimes you got to read the room a little bit.
Rob,
they don't and I'm just how it is.
Okay, I love that. Let's go to the you, understanding. What is one thing you wish you had understood earlier?
In which context?
It just in your career. Entrepreneurship frees you, it frees your potential.
Yeah. So, and this is something that you had told me for years.
Yeah, so you put me on to diving. I put you on to just life and making money. So career.
I'm not.
So I don't know if that's even, Steven, but
No, I mean, it's been a little rat-a-tat in that way. But no, I mean, there's many things when it comes to even finding a partner. So before, reaching out to my wife and before meeting her, I didn't know what I really wanted or what was a good thing to find. What are some good assets in a woman? You brought me onto that.
Sure.
You would talk about what you were looking for in a woman, and that was I want that too. That's good. I'm gonna look for that.
Yeah.
And so that was very helpful for me when I was, searching,
Generally, I think that those traits that you're looking for in a woman or a wife, and again, this is a side topic, and I don't really get into this stuff because I'm not a dating coach, but I would say this: you're looking for that in a partner or relationship in general. You're looking for someone that's open, that's honest, that actually has your back, that you're going to be able to stand in the trenches with when it gets hard. That's what you're looking for generally. And then obviously you have to be attracted to someone, etc. But someone who gets you, supports you, like all of that stuff is, again, what you're looking for in a relationship partner for me, and also a business partner.
Correct. And so besides that, you also taught me about, you just been speaking for a long time about getting into entrepreneurship. And so I was in a career where I felt really fulfilled. I really wanted to, I'm a service guy.
Yep.
So I loved my work.
Time to circle back, by the way. So Rob was raised, as we talked about earlier, in a relatively tough environment. He does come from the same mold as me, where we're thankful to have been born in this country with these opportunities,
100%.
with the brain that he has in between his ears. He's a super sharp guy. So there's always something to be thankful for, and conditioning your mind to be that way is very important. I think Rob generally is a positive guy, so am I. Glass half full guy, so am I. But he did have some challenges, and so school was sort of his savior, and he wanted to give back, which is how he got into Tech My School and why he got into education, and now why he started this nonprofit for these underprivileged kids in Puerto Rico, and now candidly across the nation and soon internationally. So it is a mission-based business that he started as a nonprofit, but it is based on his life and what has helped him, similar to this podcast. Subscribe to the podcast, you guys. Skip the Lines pod. It's basically, hey, look,
Do it.
I didn't come from much. Section 8 welfare kid. Him and I have that in common. But, we don't let those things get us down. You have a gift. You have breath in your body. You have a heart that's beating. You have a brain that's telling your body to move and do things, and you can learn and read. You have the internet now. You have YouTube. You have podcasts. You have guys that have outdone these things before you and are willing to share this information with you. So download the podcast, share it, reach out to Rob. But let's talk about entrepreneurship and something that you wished, to circle back, that you knew about your life earlier.
To continue my thought. So you'd always talked about entrepreneurship,
Yeah.
right? And why it was such a powerful thing, and it was such a great thing. And I had really enjoyed my career in education, and I loved the work that I was doing. So my path was my path, and I needed those skills, from teacher to tech trainer to a CTO of schools. I needed that experience to put me in the place where I am today.
100%.
So I was really grateful for that. But back to that previous question, just to quickly answer that, it was simply getting into entrepreneurship was such a powerful,
Not good.
it was such a powerful thing. And just that, don't be scared to do it.
Yeah.
You would always talk about, you just got to do it.
Got to do it.
And it's been great. Like, it's been so great working in the entrepreneurial space, because
Are you going back? Never.
Probably not. But I guess the best way I can say it is, when you work in a field where you're working as an employee, there is meaning, there is that security feeling, and you feel like you've invested your time in your career. And
There's a fulfillment aspect.
that's wonderful, and that safety net is great.
Yeah.
And the longer you do it, the higher you.
Shout out Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yep. However, I feel you're like, the best way to put it is like you're in an aquarium. You're a fish in an aquarium, and the best you can do is just swim real fast in that aquarium and just shine bright. But when you're an entrepreneur, it's like you're in the lake, you're in the ocean, and so it's up to you. I mean, you could get eaten, but you could also turn into a whale, right?
Yep.
And so for me, I was able to accomplish in like 1 year what would have taken me 10 or 15 years in that little aquarium.
Yeah, for the record too, I will say Rob is, for lack of a better expression, balls to the wall. He's similar to me in the sense that, yeah, we do like to chop it up. Yeah, we love to tell jokes. Yes, we can come in hot, but we do the work. And there's no BSing. Rob's working and I'm working. If you text me, there's a high likelihood that I'm probably working. If I text Rob, there's probably a high likelihood that he's working. And he sets time aside. He's very specific about his time. And that's one thing I've been learning more and more. I've always been very selfish with my time. I didn't know why. But I guess that is a trait of people who are successful. And I'm not calling myself successful. For the record, I'm just saying being intentional with your time is something that you need to do to be successful. You cannot just be running around all the time. You need to be working, scheduling your meetings, setting goals, having KPIs, taking time for your family, going on travel trips to unwind, flying out from Houston after you just did a conference from Puerto Rico, flying into San Diego to do this podcast, to get some quality time with your family, to play some tennis with me. Rob beat me 3 sets in a row, by the way. For the record, I don't play tennis as much as him. He plays every week.
You'll come back and crush me. It's going to happen.
But being intentional with your time is really important. So the entrepreneurship, back to your thought, Rob, I'm glad you're doing it. I absolutely love that you're doing it. I've known forever that you're able to do it. Once I started doing it, kind of another staple of our relationship, I'm kind of the guy that'll just jump right in the water and figure it out. So I've taken some grenades that way, but also I've been like, this water's amazing. You guys should get in. And, Rob will kind of dip his toe in. And, I've sort of been the guinea pig for a lot of things. Not to say Rob doesn't take risk, but, he did live in other countries and I have not really as much. Only lived in Sweden and in Hawaii for a while. But when it comes to entrepreneurship, it is a big jump.
Yeah.
It's a big jump because that safety net, making $200,000 consistently like you were, not paying a lot of taxes, to go to $0 and starting something from the ground up it's nerve-wracking.
Yeah. So getting into my own entrepreneurial journey, I've always kind of had it. So for example, being that kind of Kenny from South Park character, I think it started when I was about 11. So when I was 11, all I cared about was having a birthday party. Like I never had a birthday party with my friends, and I really wanted a birthday party. So I told my friends, I'm like, hey, we're doing a birthday party this year. And they're like, okay, cool, And I told my dad, I'm like, hey, Dad, all I want is a birthday party. Don't care about the presents. I just want to have friends at the party.
Yep.
And long story short, my dad gets put in jail, right?
Yeah, shocker.
He started shooting at my uncle, like Beverly Hillbilly style.
We could do a 3-hour podcast on
Correct.
Robbie's upbringing and stories we have in both of our lives growing up.
Yeah. So anyways, and I thought in my little kid brain, I was like, this guy's he did that on purpose. He didn't want to give me the birthday party. So I was like, all right, I need to have a party. I told people I'm having a party and,
Got to make it
I need
happen.
it. And I was planning on doing it at the Crest Park. And I was like, you know what? I'm doubling
Oh,
down.
I just heard this story. Some parents, who was it?
Let me tell the story.
Go ahead.
So I was like, I'm doubling down. So I went to everyone. I'm like, my birthday's on Tuesday. We're not doing it at the Crest Park. We're going down to Kennedy, which is down in the
Going
city.
big.
We're going big.
Down the hill, baby.
Tuesday, 11 in the morning, work day.
Love it.
No RSVPs.
It's good planning.
So I just told everyone we're doing it there, and I didn't have any money. So what I did was I went to this field, sorry, whoever's field this was, and they had these avocado orchards. So I just grabbed in my backpack a bunch of avocados.
Love it.
Hundreds of trees.
Sure.
And I went door to door selling avocados.
Bro, I've never heard this story. This is amazing.
Yeah. And so I
You
sold.
stole the avocados
I stole, yeah.
and
I
then you
borrowed
started
them.
slanging them.
Yeah, I slanged avocados. And so I went door to door and I was like, 5 for $1. That was a good deal back then. That's a ripping deal today.
Bro. I love avocados too.
So I went door to door and
Two
I
for
made
$5 at
I made
Sprouts
20
right now,
bucks.
bro.
I made 20 bucks.
Nice.
So I sold whatever, 100 avocados. And then I told my brother, I'm like, all right, we're doing this party. It's tomorrow. So we walked from my house in Crest down in Suncrest. You can look up the address, 3333 Suncrest Boulevard. Google that. You'll see how crazy it is. And then I walked down to Kalen's down in El Cajon.
Yep.
It's like a 2-hour, 3-hour walk.
Shout out Bud Kalen.
Ayo. And then I picked the perfect party. I got nutty bars. I've got like a 2-liter, bottle of Coke, just all the best Star Crunches, like all those snacks, right? No
You went
plates.
top shelf.
No plates, no
Top
napkins.
shelf, bro.
No cake. And then I went there and I remember just organizing.
You're 11 years old.
11 years old.
I love this.
I was like organizing on the table and the bench, like all my Star Crunches, and I was envisioning this amazing party. Like
Gonna
all
be
these kids,
great.
we're gonna do a pyramid. Like it was gonna be awesome. And so the party, I'm just waiting there, 11 o'clock, 11:15, 11:30. And one of my friends, his name was Casey Meredith. He told his mom, he's like, Mom, Robbie's having a party down at Kennedy, Tuesday, 11 o'clock. And she's like, no, he's not. Because who's having a party down at Kennedy on a Tuesday? Where's the RSVP, right? And so he's like, Mom, trust me. She's like, fine, I got to run some errands. Let's go. And then she calls Martha O'Leary.
Ben's mom.
Ben's mom. And she goes, hey, Casey's telling me Robbie's having a party down at Kennedy.